Have you ever had a teacher or maybe a presenter who just clicked? Someone who could take a really complicated idea and somehow make it feel simple and engaging and something you actually remembered later. It kind of feels like magic, right? Well, it's not. It's actually a formula. And today, we're going to deconstruct that exact formula by looking at some of the best teachers out there to figure out their playbook.
So what is it? What's the secret sauce that makes a great teacher completely unforgettable? Is it just their personality? Their expert knowledge? Well, yeah, it's a little bit of both. But there's also a clear, repeatable structure underneath it all that honestly, anyone can learn. We've been studying some absolute masters of the craft to find that structure.
So to find this pattern, we dove in. We analyzed hours and hours of content from some of the most successful online English teachers on YouTube. We're talking about folks like Mark Kulik, Jennifer from J Forest English, and the team over at English in Comfort. And you know what we found? A surprisingly consistent 3-part playbook that they all use for effective communication.
Okay, so technique number 1. Every single great lesson starts right here. Before they even get to the real meat of the content, these teachers masterfully set the stage. They don't just jump into a bunch of facts. First, they create this really welcoming environment, and then they tell you exactly where the lesson is going. It's all about building rapport and then providing a roadmap.
I mean, just take this quote from Mark Kulik. It's a perfect example. He starts his live streams by literally toasting his audience, thanking his community members by name, and saying this. It's so simple, but it's incredibly powerful because it immediately creates this sense of psychological safety. He's not just talking at you, he's building a community where everyone feels seen and valued, right from the very first minute.
So this first technique really stands on 2 pillars. First, just like we saw, is building that sense of community. That's what makes people open and receptive to learning. And the second part is providing a super clear roadmap. This is all about prepping the audience's brain for the information that's about to come their way.
And to show you that second pillar in action, Mark Kulik does something so incredibly simple, it's brilliant. He literally just holds up a piece of paper and walks everyone through the agenda. An idiom, a game, and then phrasal verbs. So why does this work so well? Well, because it gets rid of all the uncertainty. When your audience knows the plan, their brain isn't wasting energy wondering what's next. It can just relax and focus completely on the content.
Okay, so once the stage is set, we get to the real core of the teaching. The second technique is all about one thing: making abstract ideas concrete. Great teachers are absolute masters of the example. They just know that a definition is pretty useless until you can see it, feel it, and connect it to something you already get. So for instance, let's look at how Mark Kulik teaches the phrasal verb cop out. He starts with a really clear, simple definition: to avoid, back out of, or quit something. Okay, that's a good start, but this is where the real teaching kicks in, because he anticipates where people are going to get confused.
He knows that a non-native speaker might hear cop and immediately think of a police officer. So what does he do? He tackles that confusion head on. He explains it's not about being scared. That would be chicken out. And it's not about failing because that means you at least tried. No, cop out is specifically about avoiding a responsibility. By getting ahead of the mistake, he builds the right mental model right from the start. And this idea of making things concrete isn't just for vocabulary. It works for sounds, too. Jennifer Forrest from J Forest English is an absolute pro at this. When she's teaching the phrasal verb take up, she doesn't just say the words. She breaks down the sound itself.
And this is just brilliant. She explains that to connect the words naturally, you should put that K sound on up. So take up becomes take cup. She turns a really complex phonetic idea into a simple, memorable instruction that you can actually feel in your mouth. She makes the sound tangible, something you can actually do and replicate easily.
All right, the final technique. And this is what separates just passively watching something from actively mastering it. The best teachers know that you don't really learn something until you actually use it. This is what we call the practice loop, a cycle of explaining something, getting the audience to practice it, and then giving them immediate, helpful feedback.
Now, this cycle looks simple, but it is so powerful. After a teacher explains a concept like cop-out, they don't just move on to the next thing. They immediately ask their students to try using it. But the real secret sauce is that third step, giving specific, helpful feedback. That's what closes the loop and turns information into actual knowledge.
Let's actually watch this loop happen in real time. A student named Helga writes a sentence using cop-out. It's good, but it's not quite perfect. Now notice how Mark responds. He doesn't just say, "That's wrong." He says, "We can fix your sentence a little bit." And then he models the more natural way to say it. This isn't criticism, this is collaborative improvement, which just makes people want to participate even more. And what's really cool is that Mark even explains the psychology behind why this works. He tells his students that by noticing the mistake and then actively fixing it, that whole process helps them remember it better. It's not about getting it right on the first try. It's about the process of refining. The practice loop isn't just a teaching method, it's a memory-making tool that builds stronger connections in your brain. So there you have it. It's not magic, it's a playbook. By combining these 3 techniques, these teachers create an environment where learning feels almost effortless, super engaging, and incredibly effective. So let's put it all together one more time. So here it is, your 3-part playbook, straight from the masters. First, set the stage, connect with your audience, and give them a map of where you're going. Second, make it concrete. Use great examples to turn abstract ideas into something real. And third, create a practice loop. Explain, let them try it out, and then give them constructive feedback. Whether you're teaching English, presenting quarterly earnings, or just explaining a new idea to your team, this formula just works.
So the real question is, which one of these powerful techniques are you going to use in your next presentation? You don't have to do them all at once, just starting with one, maybe just providing a clear roadmap at the beginning, or creating a little practice loop for a key idea. That alone can totally change how your message is received. You have the playbook now, so how are you going to use it?